Hello folks, my name is Rich Keener. I'm the village manager for the Village of Villa Park. Today's another one of my segments where I'll be talking about an upcoming board meeting and its formal agenda. So folks, today's segment is on the formal board meeting agenda for Monday, April 12th. So let's start. So on the agenda, number 1 is the call to order. It's the roll call. Number 2 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Number 3 is public comments on agenda items. And folks, that's the appropriate time for anyone in the audience to come to the podium and comment on any of the items that are on the formal agenda for that evening. So moving on, number 4 for Monday night is amendments to the agenda. And that's the appropriate time for the village president or board of trustees to make revisions, modify the formal agenda for that evening. Moving on, we have number 5, our consent agenda. We have 5A, which is minutes from the board meeting held on March 22nd, 2021. Then we have 5B, which is bill listings for the weeks of March 22nd, 2021, March 29th, 2021, and April 5th, 2021, in the amount of $1,046,562.35. Moving on to number 6 for Monday night, April 12th, we have 6A, which is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending section 14-207, which is no parking zones of the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code. So folks, the background on this particular item is that over the last several years, East Central Boulevard has seen a significant increase in traffic and in the demand for parking. Last year, a traffic study was completed which recommended, among other things, the elimination of some of the parking spaces on the south side of Central Boulevard, west of Myrtle Avenue. An ordinance enacting those parking changes was passed in January of 2021. Since that ordinance passed and the new parking restrictions have been in place, both staff and the public have noted continuing traffic and parking issues. Staff evaluated the situation and believes that it would be advisable to extend the existing no parking zone on Central Boulevard further west to Euclid Avenue. And so folks, on this particular one, obviously as I just read, there's been parking issues and traffic issues on Central Boulevard between Myrtle and Euclid. And really that road, I believe, is 20 feet wide. And with the parking there, there's not much left, really, quite frankly, of the roadway for traffic to get by one another, oncoming traffic, along with pedestrians and anything of that nature. And so staff is still receiving complaints about the traffic and the parking. And so Monday night we'll be discussing removing the remaining parking from Myrtle to the west side of Euclid. So in reality, if this is approved, then from South Villa on Central all the way to Euclid, there would be no parking. So moving on, for Monday night, we have 6B, which is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park amending water and wastewater rates and charges. So folks, the background on this particular item is that Stanley Consultants was selected to perform a water and wastewater rate study for the village at the October 12th, 2020 board meeting. The focus of the study was to analyze the fees charged in both water and wastewater utilities to ensure that the village will have enough revenue to fund the daily operations and the planned capital improvements that are identified in the village's capital improvement plan. The rate study projected expenses for both water and wastewater utilities for the next 5 years, including the anticipated cost for low-interest loans for capital projects. Overall, the recommendation was to raise rates for water usage, water customer charge, sewer usage, wastewater customer charge, combination sewer charges, and the backflow prevention devices, also known as the RPZ program fee. The proposed rates will increase the monthly cost for Villa Park residents. The proposal will increase the monthly cost for water by approximately 75 cents a month for an average family and 70 cents a month for wastewater charges. In reviewing neighboring communities, the proposed water rate will be slightly higher than the average rate for neighboring communities in 2021 by about 72 cents a month, but the wastewater rate is lower than the average rate by $3.83. But it should be noted that the wastewater rate does not include the Salt Creek Sanitary District treatment charges, and as you know, that's a different charge here in Villa Park. These are proposed rates, and the village board may elect alternate rates. Any reduction in rates will have a direct impact on the completion of the capital plan, as there will not be sufficient funding for all planned future projects or repayment of low-interest loans. This will further delay improvements or projects will have to be removed from the capital plan at the board's discretion. So folks, every 3 or 4 years or so we do a study of our wastewater and water rates to make sure that as we move forward that we have enough funding for projects and maintenance of the existing mains and other equipment as well. And so Stanley finished their study, and these are the results, and which is to increase rates for water, wastewater, and some fees, etc. And so if you're interested in this, please tune in, or you can come in person as well, because the Village Hall will be open. So moving on to 6C for Monday night, we have an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Village Code regarding persons eligible to hold a liquor license. So folks, the background on this particular item is that the Village Board is considering modifying Section 3-309 of Chapter 3, Article 3 of the Villa Park Municipal Code so that the Village Code is similar to the requirements of the Illinois Liquor Control Act of 1934. This ordinance will allow certain elected officials under certain conditions to hold their liquor license. So folks, really the background on this particular item is that we may have a person that was just elected as a trustee, holds a liquor license currently under Village Code that is not allowed. So there'll be considerable discussion Monday night on the pros and cons of allowing an elected official the capacity to hold a liquor license. So another interesting item for Monday night. Moving on, for Monday night, April 12th, is 6D, which is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, prohibiting the use of groundwater as a potable water supply by the installation or use of potable water supply wells or by any other method. So folks, the background in this particular item is that the village received a request from Tri-Core Environmental LLC of Naperville, Illinois to consider approving a groundwater ordinance. Tri-Core has been working to fulfill the obligations of the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency's Leaking Underground Storage Tank program to obtain a no further remediation letter for the leaking underground storage tank incident numbers 92-2987 and 94-2519 related to property located on the east side of Route 83. This ordinance prohibits the use of groundwater as a supply of potable water through the installation or use of private potable water supply wells. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance. So folks, Tri-Core Environmental is working with a property owner to go through the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency's UST program so that they can receive a letter of no further remediation so they can redevelop their property and get it back on the tax roll. So this ordinance, if it's approved, will help them achieve that goal. So moving on to 6E for Monday night, April 12th, we have an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Villa Park Municipal Code relating to immobilization of motor vehicles and fines for immobilization. So folks, the background of this particular item is that the police department has identified approximately 26 vehicle owners with multiple unpaid parking tickets. Attempts to collect unpaid parking fines through notices, adjudication, and collections have been basically ignored. The top 5 offenders owe the village a cumulative total of $59,062.50. So staff consulted with the village's attorney and adjudication hearing officer to provide guidance that would be used to create a more understandable and enforceable village immobilization code. Attached is a copy of the village's existing code containing highlighted text illustrating the proposed revisions. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance. So folks, just as I mentioned, we sought advice from our village attorney and the adjudication hearing officer on ways to improve our immobilization municipal code. And the proposed ordinance contains, quite frankly, many text revisions, and it was easier just to provide the existing municipal code and highlight the various changes, because there are quite a few. There could be one word change. I think a paragraph has been deleted. We talk many times about notice, immobilization, seizure, things of that nature. So the result of the guidance provided by the village attorney and adjudication hearing officer is going to be a much more understandable and enforceable code if it's approved Monday night. So moving on to number 7, which is our ordinance section, we have 7A, which is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, establishing temporary executive powers pursuant to Chapter 8, Article 3, Sections 8-301 through 308 of the Villa Park Municipal Code, 65 ILCS 5/11-1-6 of the Illinois Municipal Code, and 20 ILCS 3305-11 of the Illinois Emergency Management Act. This ordinance extends the temporary executive powers contained in Ordinance 4212, approved by the Village Board on March 22nd, 2021, until such time that the Village Board can reconvene in an open meeting. So folks, we've carried this ordinance over for a few months now, and it's the executive powers for President Bolthuis, and this provides him the ability to react quickly to purchase more PPE equipment if we need it, if the purchase happens to be over our purchasing powers at the moment, and then get approval later. It also has the ability to cooperate on a regional basis, and also gives the authority to change certain scheduling within the village too for staff to respond to the COVID virus and its mitigation measures. So moving on to 7B, we have an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving Herber's plat of consolidation for the property commonly known as 307 South Illinois Avenue. So folks, the background in this item is the owners of 307 South Illinois own the 2 parcels of land that are in consideration for consolidation. Said owners seek to add a swimming pool on the northern parcel, which is currently green space. A plat of consolidation is necessary to record the property as one lot consisting of the principal structure and accessory structures. So folks, as I just mentioned, the owners of 307 South Illinois want to put a pool on a separate lot. And according to our village municipal code, a lot has to have a principal structure, which would be your home and a garage. It can't just have the swimming pool. And so what the owners of 307 South Illinois are going to do, if approved Monday night, is to consolidate both their lots into one, and then they'll be able to put the swimming pool in the green space. So moving on to 7C for Monday night, we have ordinances of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a plat of consolidation and granting a special use to allow a church including daycare in the lower level, and a special use to allow a planned unit development consisting of 2 buildings, a church, and a parsonage. So folks, the background of this particular item is that St. Paul Lutheran Church, located at 545 South Ardmore Avenue, is seeking improvements to the church and parking lot. The proposed improvements include reconfiguring the basement daycare to serve the modern daycare program better. The drive on the east side of the church will be moved further east away from the building to eliminate a blind corner. It will also allow space to move the playground against the building and eliminate the need for daycare students to cross the drive to access the playground. Most work to the building will be interior renovations within the existing footprint. The property is currently made up of 5 separate parcels and will be consolidated into one lot so that the improvements do not straddle onto separate parcels. Staff recommends approval of these ordinances. So folks, in this particular item, St. Paul Lutheran Church would like to do renovations on the outside and interior renovations as well. And to do that, they're going to consolidate their 5 parcels into one. And we'll have 3 different ordinances to consider, 2 for special use, and then the consolidation of the 5 parcels into one. So moving on from Monday night, April 12th, we have on the agenda number 8, which is our resolution sections. We have 8A, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving final change order number 1 to the contract with IRA Valdivia Contractors, Inc. of Chicago, Illinois, for construction of the 2020 Home Avenue Water Tank Painting Project for a deduction in the amount of $6,712. So folks, the background of this particular item is that the village has a contract with IRA Valdivia Contractors, Inc. of Chicago, Illinois, in the amount of $782,520 for the construction of the 2020 Home Avenue Water Tank Painting Project. Proposed final change order number 1 consists of the final balancing of contract quantities as measured in the field. The net amount of proposed final change order number 1 is a deduction in the amount of $6,720 for an adjusted final contract amount of $775,800. Staff recommends approval of this resolution. So folks, we're closing out the water tower painting project, and this is the final change order. Obviously, it's a deduction for $6,700 plus, and we'll be happy when that project's done. It's beautiful. We just didn't need to do a couple of things, and now we have a deduction. So we're closing her out and moving forward. So moving on from Monday night, April 12th, we have number 9 on the agenda, which is public comments on non-agenda items. And folks, that's the appropriate time for anyone in the audience to come to the podium and comment on non-agenda items. Number 10 is the village clerk's report. Number 11 is the village trustees report. Number 12 is the village president's report. Number 13 would be my report, the village manager's report. Number 14 is executive session. So folks, we're going to go into executive session. We do not have any action items, so when we come out, it would just be adjournment. So number 14, executive session. We have 14A, which is pursuant to the general provisions of the Open Meetings Act. We have A, 5 ILCS 120/2C1, personnel matters. We have C2, collective bargaining matters. We have C5, purchase or lease of property. We have C6, sale or lease of property. We have C11, pending litigation. We have C21, discussion of closed session minutes. And again, we won't have any action items after that. We'll just come out. And number 15 is adjournment. So folks, we have some very, very interesting items for Monday night. So I'm sure there might be some folks in the audience to comment on several of those. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Our village hall is open, but if you do come to participate in the activities Monday night, April 12th, you will need to wear a face mask. We're still going to follow social distancing by seating everyone 6 feet apart, things of that nature. So you will need to do that. But it will be open. But you can also tune in to our YouTube channel and watch it live via YouTube, or our 2 cable channels as well. So hope you have some time to tune in or come in person. Hope you're enjoying the nice, beautiful weather. Again, my name is Rich Keener. It's my honor to be the village manager for the Village of Villa Park. Take care. Hope to see you soon.